Hey everyone, and welcome to the newest episode of the Inspection Podcast, where we take a closer look at all things real estate and beyond in the greater Kane County Tri-Cities area. This week in episode 4, super excited to have my pal, entrepreneur, jack of all trades. She does a little bit of everything. Ashley Keller, welcome to the show. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on.
We're excited to have you and ready to dive into a lot because I think you know a lot of folks in the area, and there's a lot of people that are just starting to learn about you over the last couple of years, which we'll dive more into. But you do a lot. I mean, you have your hand in a lot of different businesses. Tell us a little bit more about some of the highlights of what you focus on every day, every week, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, I like to say I have ADD in business. I like to get involved in everything. And if you're my friend or you're in business with me, you know you can't mention a potential business without me being like, how do I get involved? How do we make this work? So very much true. I'm going to try and keep this brief because I know it can get a little overwhelming. But it kind of started, it started about 8 years ago. And I was working in interior design, but more on the kind of management side of it and the operations side of it. And I knew kind of from the get-go, straight out of college, went to Northern Illinois University, go Huskies. And I knew that the traditional workforce was just not meant for me. And I didn't know what that meant. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. So I did what I was supposed to do. I had student loans. I'm not a psychopath. So I was like, I'm going to go get a regular job, start paying down these loans. And then I started getting that 7-8 year itch where I was like, oh, this isn't right for me. What do I do? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? And that is when I had a hard conversation with my husband, and we sat down and we said, what do you want to do? And I was being very rational. And I said, real estate investing. Because when we're talking timeline here, we're talking 7-8 years ago. That was all the rage. Everybody was kind of young people getting into real estate investing, doing these quick flips, doing all this stuff. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do because I feel like I can manage it and I can do well at it. I did that for a little bit. So I called that Keller Enterprises. Very original name, I know. And I did a couple of quick flips. I did a couple rentals that I hated. If I'm being honest, that's what I'm here for. I hated, but
Why'd you hate it? Why'd you hate it real quick? Being a landlord or?
Being a landlord. I am too nice. Believe it or not, I'm way too nice. And every single person that I had just took great advantage of me. They knew the sucker walking in the door, and it was me. And they took advantage, and I let them do it. And that is a very tough position to be put in. It takes a certain person to be a landlord, a very strong person, of which I was not.
Well, that's in my future plans. So you'll have to tell me the horror stories and how to not be so nice to people to get what I need and want. So,
well, if I had any very successful stories on that, I would still be doing it. So I don't know but nightmare stories, I've got you. Okay, I'll give you.
Okay, good. Yeah, set me up to succeed or fail one way or the other.
So. Deal. So after that, I was still kind of doing all this thinking again. This is when my mind started jumping in a million places. All right, now I'm making money and that's great, but I'm not fulfilled. There's something missing in what I'm doing. In my mind, it's that very existential, like, is this all it is? Is this life? Just working and making a little money, paying the bills, but is this it? So that's where I really started thinking, who am I as a person and what do I want to do? So I started Fishy Green Organic Farm with my brother. A lot of people in the Tri-Cities area know that we were one of the first in the area to do indoor aquaponic lettuce, and we sold at local markets. And I really grasped onto the community aspect and the agriculture aspect. And agriculture is one of those things that I had heard about growing up. I didn't have any direct family in agriculture, but on my husband's side, they're all in agriculture. So I learned a lot from them. And I loved it, and I became obsessed. So Fishy Green Organic Farm was my first kind of introduction into that. And then from there, it just kind of exploded. I started realizing things like, okay, this isn't really for me. The aquaponics thing is very difficult in the area. Anyone who knows about that, they know in the Midwest where we get those cold winters, even when you're trying to heat a greenhouse to grow lettuce, it is extremely costly and not sustainable. So I said, I want to stay in this business, but how do I make it work for me? Enter Cece's Honeybees. That is just, that is my baby, literally and figuratively, my baby of a business.
And so Cece's Honeybees is delicious. My son is addicted. I think I bought like the largest jar last time I saw you, and we're basically out. It has to go on almost everything: chicken, his oatmeal. I mean, it's universal. So it's addictive. And if you haven't seen it it's in a number of local. I mean, how many local retail? I mean, from Endiro Coffee down in Aurora to Country Village Meats in Geneva to Chi-Cuterie in downtown Geneva. Like, it's in all the. I mean, it's obviously at a lot of different markets you've been at. I mean, I don't even know how many places people can buy Cece's Honeybees. I mean, is it just endless at this point?
I believe, no, honestly, I would like more for anyone listening.
If you're interested in housing some addictive honey at your local retail shop, please reach out to us.
I'm in 12 locations right now in the area, and then I sell at markets and I sell at my own farm. And I would love to kind of expand that, because I think honey is such a necessity that I always tell people, and local honey is really the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of best of both worlds there. We're supporting local, but we're also getting the benefits of the honey being local. And a lot of people don't know this part of it, which I love. People know me. My daughter's name is Cece. It's Cecilia. So they're like, oh, that's adorable. You named your company after your daughter? No. I named my daughter after my company. Cece's Honeybees came about before Cece came about. But it was a name that I knew. It was like a family name. I knew it would be in my life. And I knew if I ever had a daughter, that her name would be Cecilia. And Cece's Honeybees, I don't know. It just kind of works.
It totally works, and it's going to continue to grow. It's awesome. And again, like I said, I love it. So, and you mentioned you have this at your farm, and I will say before we dive into the farm, I do at some point, if you can hook me up, I've always wanted to wear one of those big head things with the net, and I'm like helping the bees figure their stuff out. And so if I can ever get like a behind the scenes, we'll do the whole thing. It'd be awesome. I want to make my own jar, if you will.
I was going to say, we're not just suiting you up for this, okay, Chris? You're in. We're tagging you in. You're going into the hives. I would love nothing more than to be the person recording you the first time you go into the hives. Yeah,
we'll definitely get that on the channel for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the farm. For those that have ever driven, which is anyone that needs to go west of Randall Road and Peck Road rather, off Kesslinger and Brundage, is the home to Weathered Ways Farm, where my real estate team, so many vendors and artisans and just people have had a chance to start to engage with you and just the people that go there, musicians, everything. Weathered Ways Farm. It's an excellent place. It's a one-of-a-kind property in the area, in my opinion. And I know it's going to be growing a ton. So if you're curious, stick around a little bit later. Ashley's going to talk about future plans at the farm, as much as she's willing to share, as well as just events she's excited about. But you decided to buy a piece of property, and here we are, and it's 2023. Tell us about that process at a high level and what you learned about buying land and putting a barn on it, and like just some of those high level things that you took away and maybe plans going forward.
Yeah, I learned more than I ever wanted to know. That's what I will tell you. So we knew we had Cece's Honeybees, we had Fisher Green Organic Farm, and we wanted to expand. So we were looking for land. And this was only about, I don't know, what are we going on? We're going on year 2 now. So this was only 2 years ago. So let's call it 3 years ago, we started looking for land. It was kind of a difficult time. And what I'm saying by that is land was very limited for what I was looking for. I was looking for 5 to 7 acres, something that we could expand into a little bit, but it wasn't extremely overwhelming. First thing I think everyone kind of does, their first thought, hey, I want to acquire some land. So I started hopping on Zillow, Redfin. I had some access to the MLS, and I'm looking for everything and anything affordable. And now that's one thing I should include. I was looking for agricultural land, so that has a land exemption on it. For tax purposes and for a whole bunch of different purposes. So I was looking for that specifically. Everything that I was finding that was reasonably priced was, number one, way out west from where we are. And I'm talking past DeKalb, kind of more on the outskirts of the Rockford area. Now,
Yeah.
I'm more a Tri-Cities gal, so that was a bit of a drive for me. Now, if I wanted to find something around 5 acres in, let's say, Geneva, St. Charles, Batavia, even Elburn, that kind of area, it was money, and I'm talking insane. Now, you have to consider, I understand why. If you're putting a complex on there, if you're putting a business center on there, you are going to make that money back pretty rapidly. That is what the land is worth in this area, and it makes perfect sense to me. I understand that. But for what I was doing, agriculture, unfortunately, for anyone out there with huge dreams of just becoming a farmer and hitting the jackpot, it's not going to happen. That is not how it works. It's a slow business, yes. Yeah. And it's a business for the heart, but not necessarily for the wallet at times. So I was really struggling to find the perfect thing. Driving down the road, I don't even know where I was going. Ooh, I think I was going out to Reams. I was going out to Reams.
Reams plug. Reams plug. I wish I had my hat here. I should put it in the background.
Trademark.
Yeah, trademark.
And I'm driving down Kessinger, obviously, and it wasn't me. It was my husband. He's in the passenger side, and he's like, wait, what is that? And there is a for sale sign right on the corner, Kessinger and Brundage. And my first thing is like, oh, we're so close. We're doing farming, and we're so close to this community, which is Mill Creek right over there. And it's huge. Like, it's 25 acres, which to me, I know any farmers listening are like laughing. They're like, 25 acres, that's nothing.
Double digits, chump change. Yeah.
It's chump change, chump land. So we started looking into it, and yes, the price was somewhere right in the middle. So it wasn't that super high downtown Geneva or even like outskirts of downtown Geneva price tag, but it wasn't that like 40 minutes west type of price tag. It was priced right in the middle. It was set to be certified organic, which is a huge part when you're looking for land, specifically agricultural land. There are so many steps to becoming certified organic, and sometimes it could take many, many years of replenishing that land before you can even apply for it. So it's set to be certified organic. So I was sitting there thinking, the price is right. It's in Geneva, which I love Geneva. Who doesn't love Geneva? Yeah. And how am I going to make this work for me? So I just kind of had to change my mindset. And I think I made the land work for me instead of the land needing to fit into what my dreams were. I changed my dreams, and that's how I kind of like made that work. So the idea behind Weathered Ways was, instead of it being just a strictly agricultural land where I'm farming, I have my bees and all of that, I wanted to give back to a community who had given me so much with Cece's honeybees, with Fishy Green Organic, with just investments in the area. I wanted to give back, and I wanted to know more people in the area. Believe it or not, I am not the most outgoing person when I'm in public.
I'm still calling BS on this, but
I'm kind of a wallflower. So I did not know a lot of people in the area. And this was kind of my opportunity. So for people who have gone by there, Weathered Ways, it's a community agricultural center where we host events that are family oriented. And that is like a very broad term that I would I can go into further detail a little while about what we actually do on the farm, but I wanted to stick with more just acquiring that land. For anyone who's kind of looking for something specific, because since we've done that, it's become a really hot thing to find these homesteads and get homestead exemption and to do all of that. My number one hot tip, before you do anything, you find a piece of land, you call the county. So mine was Kane County. You call the county and you ask them some specific questions.
They'll tell you. They'll tell you everything.
They will tell you, absolutely. And they'll give you resources. And this might be like a little, maybe because I have some things that I'm going out for permit, and I hope that they're listening right now. I love Kane County. They're the perfect.
Yes, great.
Permitting department, super quick and reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you.
They are, though. Like, have you dealt? I mean, you've dealt obviously with Kane County, but specifically in permitting, like, how much have you dealt with them in that department?
Myself and the team have worked with them all the time. I mean, on either property that's zoned as farming, and I just had a client interested in a piece of property in Batavia, it's zoned farming, and he wants to not farm. And
Right.
between the county and city of Batavia, because the property kind of hit on both, they're gave us just tons of education. I mean, if you're ever somebody that wants to invest in land of any kind, or that's something you've kicked around, just call the county and pick their brain on general things. I just called the county just to get make sure I was educating anyone that follows me on social media or my clients on homestead exemption process. And those guys, I could have kept that guy on the phone. I think Lenny was his name, from the King County Recorder's Office. He could have talked to me for 20 more minutes easily. So yeah, be curious. And that's a lot of what led to where you're going with this. So
right, yeah, and zoning is very important when you're looking at property, whether you're building a house, you're starting a business, or you're doing agriculture. And it's not as simple as it looks. So for instance, I made the very nice mistake. I'm here to make the mistakes so that you don't, okay?
Perfect. Tell us what not to do.
We were a special use property. It was PUD, and I can't remember what the exact PUD was. But what is so ironic about this, the land was used for farming. It was sold by a specific, real estate agency group that specialized in farmers and farmland. So they're showing me it's special use. Yes, you can farm. I purchased the property. And then all of a sudden, when I start deep diving and I'm talking to the county, well, they're like, you're PUD special use. You're allowed to do this. The only exemptions that you cannot do: sell alcohol and farm the land. I'm like, wait, what? I just bought a farm.
And you can't farm it.
And that you can't farm. And they're like, well, that is what you're currently zoned as. We will allow you to continue farming it, but we're letting you know you are in the wrong zoning category. Whew. So this is like 8 months later, we're still, and not by their fault. It's a fault of all the information that's needed, and attorneys and architects and land planners and surveyors, all of this stuff. We are trying to rezone into another special use that allows us to sell alcohol and farm the land. So I think that might be like F1. I don't know if that, like, you're the guy for this. Have you heard of like PUD F1?
There's so many different designations that that we can definitely dive in. I'll get that answer for you, is the way I look at it.
That's what I'm here for. I need you to answer all my questions because I don't know what I'm doing. No.
You didn't hit that with me before we went on air here, so
man.
I'll find out.
I thought that I would sneak that one in.
Yeah.
So I think it's a huge thing when you're purchasing land to make sure you're calling the county, and not only, but you want to tell them what your plan is for the land. Not just like, hey, I would like to do homestead exemption. Will you be running a business out of it? Will you be like impervious land? So you want to tell them exactly what you're building on that land, and they will tell you what needs to be done. So that's something I learned the easy way and the hard way. If you give them the pre-plan before you purchase, you're going to get a much better idea of all the work, including, septic, ponds, installing driveways, all of that kind of little category things that you don't think about until you've gotten the land in your name. These are things that if you call the county, they're more than happy to walk you through before you purchase, which is really nice of them.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the risk out of it. So yeah, do your research and lean on your real estate team to do a lot of that for you. I mean, we'll call, we'll report back and play, messenger, no problem. So, okay. So you go through that process, you get all the permitting, the barn's beautiful. And I know that was a process to get that done, and materials and all that. So that, now we jump ahead, and you've done so many cool events. Shameless plug, Dog Days of Summer last year was awesome. We'll be doing it again later this year. Myself and Luke, who was on a previous episode, and many others. There's so many people involved in that last year, and especially from your team. So what were the key learnings from events you've done, and how does that transition into going forward, what people can expect when they come, or, what events they should be looking out for from you?
Yeah. So I learned what worked and what didn't work, and some things changed by year. So a lot of people who have been there know the local love market, and that was something we were doing on Saturdays. It was a morning market. My kind of idea was just to get the community there, support local vendors by allowing them to sell, kind of like a maker's market, having live music, having food options, having nice places for children to play. I think one of the biggest things that our community needs are areas where people can go have fun as a family without the concern of children's safety. So when you think of farmers markets, French markets, they tend to be on more busy roads. And I know you, so I know you have children, and they don't always mesh. And I would be going to these markets and I would be holding on to my daughter like a hawk. Because I'm like, please don't run off on the 64 when I'm trying to buy some bars of soap here. Like, stay near me. That was my idea. I was like, I want to make
escape artist.
So she's an escape artist there. There have been many times where I'm like, where is my daughter? Is she on Kessinger yet? No? So that was kind of the idea. And we did the local love markets. Year one, they were smashing success. We had so many people showing up. We had so much fun. I loved it. So year two, instead of changing that, I just decided to, why reinvent the wheel? Let's just do it again. And then year two is what I learned, that you cannot do that. That you always must be evolving to what the community needs, to what people want to be doing. So that is a very exciting announcement that I'm going to say it on here. I haven't announced it officially, but it's going to go out on my socials and all of that very soon. Scratch the local love market. It's out. And we are doing third Thursdays. So I want to really bring in that family fun aspect, but also kind of make it adult fun at the same time. This is going to be third Thursdays starting in April. It's going to be 6 to 9 p.m. So we're doing a nighttime market. And the focus is what we're calling a social club. So for those, there's a lot of social clubs like down south. And imagine these open spaces where you're just down on the farm. It's going to be indoor and outdoor, though. We're getting our liquor license. There's going to be a bar. There's going to be food, live music. There's going to be actual fixed kind of sporting and gaming areas. We're talking soccer, volleyball, bocce ball, bags, of course, all like the smaller things as well. And there's going to be all this lounge seating and fire pits. So we're like really doing up that whole area. And it's going to be more focused on how do we get people to go there and have fun. That's it. We want you to go there, eat, drink, have fun. There's also going to be some vendors in the background if you want to purchase some really awesome products made by local people. So we're going to try and incorporate all of that and just to a different, I hate this word, vibe. We're going to change the vibe.
We need to figure out, go to thesaurus.com, throw in vibe and see what kids are using these days. Because I agree.
Vibe?
Yeah. But no, that's super exciting. Third Thursdays starting in April. Can't wait to hear more and see what kind of cool artists can come there. I mean, you've had some really talented people either selling products or performing or all the above. And it's like you said, this is still in its infancy. I feel like the first 3 to 5 years of any business is an evolution and you're continuing to evolve, which is so exciting. And you're in such a great location, central to all the Tri-Cities, out west into Elburn and surrounding areas. And it's easy to get to east-west to DuPage County too. So much to offer. And there's so much to do in this area. You know, we have a lot less people than DuPage County and Naperville and some of these bigger cities, yet there's so much to do still. And so sometimes you get spread out. And if you haven't been to Weatherways Farm yet, you must go because it just attracts great people. All these places do, but it just attracts great people and it's convenient. I live in Mill Creek, so it's easy for me to just shoot over. And I've always been excited to be involved. And in addition to that, people can book indoor outdoor events with you. How do they go about doing that? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I would say people definitely need to go follow us on our socials. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. It's under Weatherways Farm. And from there, you can always slide into them DMs and come message me there. You'll be able to access our email addresses from there. You can reach out directly from me. So I'm the one who's monitoring all of our socials. You can reach out directly from there. Right now, we are more focusing on the outdoor event space. So we've had some really great events, like you were saying, Dog Days of Summer. But we've had some private events too. We've had birthday parties, we've had graduations, retirement parties, where it's just this beautiful outdoor space. I mean, we will have indoor available soon, I promise, where you're out on the farm. And I'm telling you, we have the most gorgeous sunsets from there.
You really do.
It's definitely a great space for that.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to include all of the ways to contact Ashley and the team and get Cece's honey. All of that will be just below. And if you find this interesting or took something away about buying land or anything in between, or just care for one of us or neither of us, like and subscribe below if you want some more of that. And for those that haven't met Ashley before, this is Ashley all the time. I mean, she is very genuine. She follows up. She is the one managing social. She will respond. I've met a lot of people in this area, but you are right there in competition at the top of the list for somebody who's just genuinely interested in, you have so much going on as it is, but you genuinely are interested in the other side of the conversation. You're an excellent person to work with. And this is just genuinely your personality. Like we always, this could be a conversation we're having completely independent of this conversation. And it's always fun and the energy, and it's really motivating. I know it's pushed me in my business too. So excited to have this time with you. I mean, I know we could keep going on and on. We'll dive more into other topics and check in on what's going on at the farm later this year.
Yeah.
But excited for you to put me to work with the hives here soon. And again, if you're interested in connecting with Ashley, doing an event at the farm, or just keeping an eye on what they're going to be offering this spring and summer, definitely follow them on all the social channels, which we'll share. Ashley, this was a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.